Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to today's stream. Developer, it's a good day to make your own engine, isn't it? Yes, I tend to agree. It's especially a good day to use your own engine. At least that's how I see it. Anyway, today we're gonna do some more audio programming. Let me know if the audio levels are reasonable. I think I'm gonna pull down the desktop audio levels a little bit. Oh yeah, you mean the Godot thing. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, of course that stuff doesn't necessarily make the engine itself any worse. But yes, I agree, they tended to, or at least it seems to me like they handled that situation a bit poorly. Well, yeah, we've had lots of engine drama lately, if you cover or if you consider the Unity thing as well. Which was about a year ago, actually, now, so not that recent. Anyway, in today's stream, I'm gonna do some assorted audio things. And I'm gonna start with probably the thing that I listed in the title there, which is make a VU meter. Very hostile, yeah. Yeah, I saw somewhere that someone who apparently was at least, or hopefully still is, but at least was one of their platinum sponsors or something got blocked by it. I mean, that's not terribly well handled PR. Yeah, that's not very nice. Nice for anyone involved, I'm sure. Let's hope they can move past this and go back to making just cool stuff. Right, so VU meters. So we're talking about these kinds of things, like down here. If I play these sounds here, hopefully you can hear these now. Hopefully I have this thing mixed and rerouted so that you can actually hear it. But here we have Reaper. Reaper is a program that I've started using lately for basically all of my audio editing. Not necessarily all of it, but the vast majority of it. And I have a bunch of radio chirp sounds here. You can see the levels down here. So this is at least in decibels, but this seems to have two different scales. I'm not sure exactly what that other scale is there in the middle. Maybe it's some sort of relative decibels or something. And I'm gonna want something like that for Timbre as well, for my own game audio implementation tool. Let's actually have a look at how Fmod does it, because I haven't done. Oh, that's not what I want. I want this studio thing. How do you plan to market your game when it's time? Do you have a budget to spend? How do you plan to spend it? Well, the game is completely self-funded, and I'm hoping to keep it that way. I don't really have a budget per se. Another way to say it is that I've set up a budget, but I've spent that already. So I'm kind of spending a little more of my own savings on this project that I perhaps originally thought I would. So let's see where this lands. But the budget is kind of flexible because I am doing other work besides this as well. So not exactly sure. And no, I don't know exactly how I'm gonna market it yet. The full range is available to me still. Like I might go completely self-fund. I might go the self-marketing route, or I might do the complete opposite and use a publisher. I don't know. Will you use the budget for marketing? Well, there really is no set budget for this thing, which I have, you know, there's no pool of money that I can spend and divide into different things. Maybe there should be, but there currently isn't. So, I don't know yet. How to get eyes on the game? Yeah, that exactly. That is the question. That is the question, and I guess in some small way, what I'm doing now, streaming this stuff, is a sort of marketing, but it's not enough to you know, market the whole game. On a slightly broader scale, I am working on the demo, working on getting the demo out there. The demo will definitely serve as a sort of marketing, because it will be the first time you guys get to play the game. Hopefully spread the word. But before I have anything to actually release, I'm not gonna start marketing at a broader scale. But yeah, it is a good question, and it's not something that I have fully planned out yet. I, like most indie developers, am not very good at marketing, but I do have the benefit of actually working in the games industry, like outside of the Madrigal stuff. So I might have some people I can consult on this when it is time. Yes. Anyway, so this is Fmod. Here we have some kind of what is it? This is like a grenade launcher shot sound, right? And this thing has like volume meters all over the place. You can see here on the actual clip itself, and on the master for this timeline, and then you have these faders here on the sort of beginning and end of this effect track here. So we have a master one here. We have an input to this track here. So something like this. This seems to me like it probably means decibels. Like it goes from 0 to like -60. It's very small, and then up to 10. And the scale doesn't actually really matter in my case. I just want something that I can sort of match other values to, right? I want to know if like one sound or one sound effect is significantly louder or more silent than another one. But yeah, it looks to me like these are decibels, so let's go with that as well. Is this part of your engine? This is Fmod. This is Fmod Studio. This is a very well-known audio middleware solution. So this is not made by me. No, it's not made by me. I do have a slightly similar thing, which we will start hacking on in a second. It looks like this. This is kind of my equivalent to Fmod, where you have like a button click sound here, for example, and then you can play back these sounds like this, or like open a com radio menu, or I think this close one actually is more audible. So it has this node graph design. You start the event, then you select a random branch. You have some beeps here. These actually come from this radio chirps project that we looked at earlier. So it's like all these guys here. They're just laid out one after the other so that we can export them like this. Just place them one after another. And here in Timbre, we can have a node graph that looks like this, which like randomly selects one of those. So if we play this, it sort of randomly selects one of those sounds. And somewhere up here is where we're gonna put that VU meter. We want to know the level of each of these events when we actually play them back. So I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do this yet, but we'll figure it out. I will warn you, I'm gonna have to take like a 5-minute break in probably like 10 minutes or something. I don't know exactly when. Just letting you know in advance. It shouldn't be more than 5 minutes. But I do know that I will have to go take care of one thing. Like a little while. So what I'm thinking is let's bring SoLoud documentation to the front here. SoLoud is the audio playback library that I'm using. So this is actually used by Timbre. Oh, zooming actually zooms all of my tabs. It's annoying, but okay. How's the bullet physics working? Are you happy with it? You mean bullet physics, the physics library? Because if you mean that, I'm not using it currently. Actually, I'm using PhysX for this game. But yeah, bullet physics is really nice as well. I have used it in the past. I used it in a previous incarnation of this project. But yeah, I'm not using it yet currently. I'm using PhysX. Right. So audio source. This has something called what is it? Set volume. It's something like get approximate volume or something like that, right? Let's see if I can find it. Play clocked. Stop audio source. I think actually we have the buses here. That's the bus. It's a mixing bus. Yeah, get approximate volume. That's the one. That's the one I was thinking about. Gets approximate volume for output per output channel. So we typically will be working with stereo sounds. We have 2 channels. We should be able to just get this out of SoLoud as it is playing. Do you think PhysX is better than Jolt? I haven't used Jolt, but it looks very nice. I don't think there's really any sort of better or worse can probably use either one. I will say that PhysX is more widely used though, so maybe it's a bit more mature. That's just me guessing. I haven't used actually Jolt at all, so yeah, I can't really say. And was it hard to implement? Well, kind of again depends on what you mean by that. It's not terribly difficult to implement. If you look here at the so this is my PhysX backend. I also have a Bullet backend here, as you can see. But the game that I'm working on, Traction Point, it's a vehicle game, so it uses a lot of the vehicle SDK stuff that's found in PhysX. So, but I mean, this is not super tricky things. There are some things here that can be a little tricky, but well, basically it's just forwarding your calls to PhysX, right? It's not something very tricky, pretty basic code. But yeah, it depends on what you want to do. I wouldn't call it particularly hard to put into the game. Right, let's go back to audio. So here we have Timbre. Timbre is the runtime library for playing back sounds in the game. And Timbre includes SoLoud, so it's a third-party library, and it's just directly plonked into the project. So the whole code is just like a collection of C++ classes. All right, and now I will have to, unfortunately, so I'll quickly go do a thing and then I'll be back. I apologize for this in advance. All right, there we go. So, sorry about that, everyone. And I got stuck in my headphone cable there. Right, I'm doing my own physics because I don't want to deal with too much hassle in the physics library. Also, it's C, not C++, yeah. Yeah. Sure. Depends on what you need, really. Like a basic like Verlet integrator or something is not super tricky to do, but if like me you're working with like vehicles and you want realistic behavior, then that's significant part of the thing then becomes the physics, so I don't want to do that. But yes. One thing that you can do if you want to sort of test out various things is do what I did and abstract that stuff away. So if we have the main engine library here, you can see that we have a physics section here somewhere. If I can find it, physics. Sorry, it's not actually physics. It's physics API. So I have my own scene class, for example, right here. These are virtual functions because they get bound to something at runtime. You also have a rigid body dynamic, and you have a rigid body static, etc., etc. So these guys basically they can be implemented by your own physics library if you want to go that route, or you can use PhysX or Jolt or Bullet or Box2D, whatever you want, ODE, any one of them, and you can still just use your own physics API like this. So that's one way of doing it, and you don't even need to go through virtual functions if you don't want to. I mean, you can implement these things sort of statically. So that's one way to do it. Been working with games before doing your own thing, right? Yes, I have worked in the games industry for probably around 15 years. Actually, exactly 15 years. Yeah. Now that you mention it, 2009 is the first time I got my, or is the time, first time I got into I got my first job in the games industry. That's what I'm trying to say here. And before that, I worked as a programmer for like non-games for around 10 years. So I've been doing a lot of programming. That's why basically I do now this my own project, because I get to do all sorts of fun things, not just programming. Because programming is fun and all of that, but I've done it a lot. Anyway, we have SoLoud here, and SoLoud is actually a class. So we have a SoLoud. We have an instance of this core class here. So this guy also has this volume function that I was thinking about. Get approximate volume. Get approximate volume for channel for visualization, and visualization has to be enabled before use. So we can use this just on the sort of core audio library thing. And we should be able to call it with 0 for the left channel and 1 for the right channel. And then we should be able to print those. So that's all well and good. We're an engine programmer. I have worked at all kinds of positions, but yes, among other things, engine programmer. So I worked on really small games where there was like 1 or 2 programmers, and like obviously you were doing everything in those games. And I've also worked on very large productions. And I've done like everything from like gameplay programming to tech, the whole spectrum basically. I haven't done any rendering professionally, and you can sort of see that from my my renderer now in Basis. It's not super good by any means. Yes, so we can pass flags. We can enable visualization by giving this flag here to enable visualization, and then we should be able to get that volume out of there. So let's do that. And where I actually initialized this, I think, is in the Fmod Sound Manager. But what we want is actually the Timbre Sound Manager. Oh, we have it here. So in it here, I'm gonna add a boolean here. Enable visualization. So this is something that we're gonna have to pass. The game doesn't need to have visualizations enabled. This is just for the editor, the Timbre editor. So if enable visualization, flags so loud, sorry, I will let you work. That's completely fine. Usually what I've told people is like, if I really need to work, I mean I do need to work, but if I really need to work without distractions, then I'm not going to stream. So whenever I am streaming, it's completely fair game to comment and ask questions, just by all means. By all means. Yeah, I actually took this clip roundoff away. Clip roundoff is something that will make So Loud try to round off waveforms or waves or audio signals that are too loud, so that they would experience clipping. Clip roundoff basically does almost like a small interpolation around the edges of that in an effort to make the clipping a little less noticeable. I'm not sure if I want that. I'm gonna take it out, but I'm gonna put it here on a separate line like this, so we can just comment this line in and out. Always gonna be left-handed, and if we have this on, we will also enable the visualization. Got to get work on my game too. Yeah, well, yes. I wish you the best of luck. Yeah, distractions are easy to get into, or it's easy to get distracted. That's basically what I'm trying to say here. So we have to initialize. We have to call this init with enable visualization false in the game, and I'm pretty sure that thing is done here. Yes. So I'm gonna do like enable visualization false. I don't typically like a lot of these just passing like a boolean straight to a function, because if you're looking at this later, you don't know what that false is. And enable visualization like that. All right. So this is in the game. Now we can build this thing. Oh, hey Tutu, welcome back. Yeah, somewhat of a surprise this stream. And in fact, I didn't actually even. I was thinking about advertising this on the SIG channel. That's where I get most of my views, I think. But I don't think I'm gonna do any zig today, so I thought, nah, maybe not. Let's not abuse this. Anyway, now we're gonna go to the tools side, and I'm gonna enable the visualization here. We might want to do it later in the game as well if we want to do some fancy FFTs or anything like that. I wonder where's the initialization here. Right, it's right here. So, enable visualization true, in this case, and just pass it there. And this thing is confused because it doesn't think that it actually wants anything, but it does. I'm the one hardening your announcements there. Hee hee. Yes, I know. I do know that. And thank you for that, by the way. Yeah, I don't know how many people actually see those, but whenever someone tells me where they've found my streams, it's always been through the Zig channel. So right, so this now succeeds. That's nice. So we are now in Timbre Bridge. This is a very weird little library that uses these managed .NET handles in a C++ library. So this is C++, but it's a very strange C++ variant called C++ CLI. And the idea here is that we can use the same Timbre runtime as the game uses, but we can use it from C#, and the Timbre editor is C#. So this thing has like an event passing mechanism. Editor to backend, so we can pass it a signal. For example, we can basically use any of the signals that you can define here in the editor, and then you can send them to the event. I don't really think we have any signals here in the game currently, but you can create a signal just by dragging a signal node here, and you can see that we have this button here. If we click this signal button, we send this new signal to the actual backend, and we can also set parameters. Then we have the other way around. So we have print event finished, update parameter current value. There's also something that I was thinking, how do we actually sync the time? Maybe the editor is actually calculating the time itself. It doesn't actually depend on this. I bet it actually is. But anyway, this is coming from the audio runtime to the editor. So we can add a new message type here, or event type. And we'll call this update channel volume, or should be like report channel volume, something like that. Because we'll want a float value for the left channel and another float value for the right channel. That's going to be the stuff that we can then display in our VU meter. So a function called send parameter current values. This is called from the update, the preview player backend update. If we are playing, we're sending the current values of the parameters because those might change over time. We can add another one which is just like report channel volumes or something like that. Let's put that in. Like so. Just put it right here under this guy. and we'll call it under it as well. So if we're playing, report the channel volumes, otherwise there's no point in doing it. And I think this guy might have... Does it have the timbre or the the so loud thing as like... Yeah, it actually doesn't have any so loud object itself. It just has a sound manager, which I mean makes perfect sense. But we need to somehow access that data through this timbre so loud manager. We can, however, do this. We can just access the so loud object directly. So maybe we'll just use that. I think so. Let's have a look. See, right here. So it'll be like something like. Is that a coin? Oh, and OBS is acting up. That's not great. Let's hope it manages to stay alive. Anyway, we want to call this thing on all the channels. How many channels do we actually have? I think we're passing that to... So like the game probably passes it... Yeah, it just uses 2 channels currently, all the time. And I bet this thing probably just writes it somewhere. Oh, one sec. Need to take a phone call quickly. Right. Lots of interruptions today. Sorry about that. Oh, and I don't mean interruptions by you. Just to be clear. I mean people in the real world coming to me with things. Hey Matt, I am still live. Yes. I'm still live and I'm still alive. Both of those things. Anyway, I was thinking here, is this thing actually written to like a member somewhere? Doesn't seem to be. Yeah, doesn't seem to be. Oh well. In that case, we can just call it for the stereo channels in this preview player for now, always. So this is sort of this is something that I've been tripped up on. We have so loud with a small L. You have a so loud with a large L, capital L. That's the namespace, and then we have the so loud class, which is with a small L, and then we should be able to get the item out of this like this, and then we can do sound manager get so loud like so. Right, and then we'll just do this. We will managed allocate, so called GC new on a new event preview message, and we'll just do set the type to report channel volume. String data can be null. Float data is now the thing that we get out of so loud, right? So get approximate volume for for the channel, and that should actually be an unsigned int. uint32t, like so. Int data is then, yeah, that's I, and that's not a pointer, that's a reference, like so. Yeah, so I think that's probably all we need to do on the back end. Report channel volumes, right? If we build this, the backend should start reporting the volumes to the editor when the event is running. And we have something that is actually reading those things, but where is it? I don't remember anymore. If we search for that, update parameter current value, I'm sure we can find it. It's probably this one. So event, yeah, process return messages. This is the thing. So let's do case report channel volume. And this is now the nice thing about this C++ CLI thing, that even though actually declared these things in C++, you can just use them here in C#. That's the nice thing about this. So we have the volume and we have the channel. And then we're going to have to probably convert that volume to a decibel value and somehow report it there on the VU meter. And that's going to be fun. For now, though, I am probably just going to do editor log, write log, and then do like string format, I guess. Channel and volume, and we can see if we actually get something out of that thing. That's the first thing we want to make sure. Channel volume, and it's an info. I think I actually want those the other way around. Maybe I don't know. Doesn't matter. Right? Let's play a sound and see if we get any output. Yeah. So I have started working with a new Timbre project for the game to manage all of the sounds and audio better, because I'm very deep in audio land currently. But that means that I don't have all of my handy testing assets here. But let's bring them into. Let's at least bring some of them into this project. It's going to be a fun thing to do. Then we have a bunch of things that aren't necessarily sort of meant to be used in the game, but can still be very, very handy. So like some alert, click, cruise, ship, stinger. This is a small piece of music. I have a larger piece of music there. The metal hits. So let's go into this. I'm just gonna make a new folder here. So it means old. That's the older project, and then we have the new one in asset. So music, sound effects, and VO. These are the sort of rough split that I have here. Let's put create another folder here called testing, and I might just want to actually create a new Reaper project for that as well. So Reaper is pretty awesome. Let's just call this something like test sounds. And we can drag all of those guys into it. Like so. I'm going to drag all of these audio files into it. Oh, but I'm actually, before I do that, let's create a new track. Not like that. Let's create a new track from a template. Why is my templates not showing? That's confusing. Sudo master template. We'll make that into a folder. Drag all of these guys here. Sequential time positions on a single track, same time position, separate tracks. I'd like them to be sequential positions on separate tracks, but that's not an option for some reason. So it is what it is. But now we have a collection of sounds here. Let's listen to this. So we have all kinds of things here going on. Let's put a compressor on those things. So you can hear the compressor is kicking in here and limiting those a little bit. And I know they kind of play over the background music now. It's not really a problem. We just want something that we can get like a proper sort of continuous sound, and I think this cruise ship stinger will actually be really nice for that, so that we can see the volume going up and down there. Just name these a bit nicer. Actually, I don't need to do that, because I can name these regions nicer instead. So wave alert. And I sort of covered how I do these wave exports in a previous video. That's a really short sound. Maybe we'll keep it separate like that for now at least. So I'm just gonna assume that you watch that, but if you don't know how I'm actually exporting these from Reaper, let me know and I can give you the quick version of it here. So cruise ship stinger, and then we have a couple of metal hits. I wonder if we actually need all of them, but nah. Let's just put them in. So the very short version is that I basically create these regions here. I name them wave something, and then that wave colon is used by a script which is integrated into Reaper, and it exports these into separate wave files, and then they can be brought in very easily into Timbre. So this is now test sounds RPP. If we go here back to Reaper and we refresh this guy here, we should have it. There we go, test sounds. And actually I want to add an option here that we can toggle on, so that these backups and source media folders are just automatically hidden here, because you don't typically, you should be able to override that if you want them there, but typically you don't want to see them at all. Create a new folder here for testing, and in it we'll create an event called test sounds. In test sounds we can then just do this, right? And we haven't rendered it yet, so we need to do that. There we go. So now we have these regions set up for ourselves here on start. Oh no, not on signal, but on start. Play audio. So if I play this now, we should see some output down here in the editor log. Yep, you can see that we do get some volume reports there. So that's nice. That is nice. If we switch this out for the cruise ship stinger, it should go a lot longer. It's kind of an interesting clip in another sense as well. You can even see it here in this waveform, that it's sort of panned to the left a little bit. This top one, this top waveform, is a bit wider than this bottom one, right? At least I can hear it here in my headphones quite easily, that it's actually sort of panned to the left a little bit. Get these values out of here, so the channels are interlaced. Cool. So now basically we should be able to just take these and plug them into some nice jumping colors up there, and that should be everything we need to do. And we'll have our VU meter. Not exactly sure how I want to make the actual VU meter control though. But we'll see. We'll see how to do that. So we have something that we call is it like an event flow panel or something like that? What is it called? Event editor form. Let's go here and have a look. Yeah, flow panel. Flow layout panel, right? Yes. Okay. So that's a thing in Windows Forms. It's not something that I've come up with. Flow layout panel. This is the thing that gets populated with like parameters and signals and all of that stuff. So we have populate flow panel here. And we actually probably want this VU meter to appear before it. Right? We have the playback controls and the time display there. And those are always there. Like it doesn't depend on whether or not you have any particular content in your node graph. They're just always there. Could not load assembly smart property grid. Why not? That's annoying. Yeah. That's annoying. Why can't you do that? It's right there. Oh, yeah, it might be because we changed that signature of the init method here. Maybe that the designer configuration uses Timbre's debug configuration actually. That might be the reason. So let's rebuild this. It's gonna take actually I probably need to do a full rebuild because I don't think this was in a state where it would have just built. So this is gonna take a little while, unfortunately. But what are you gonna do? C++ is slow. Alright, we're almost done with the core engine library. After that it takes, yeah, so there we go. Now it starts building like basically all of the other projects in parallel. So it shouldn't take long now. But basically everything depends on the core engine library, so that tends to take like 5-6 minutes to build. And then after that you're off to the races. But of course, Zig is nice, Zig builds fast. It's only gonna get faster. And yeah, OBS tells me that the encoding is overloaded. It's probably because I'm using like 100% of my CPU for this now. Let's see. Yeah, it's clearly everything is overloaded apparently. Yeah. Yeah, this machine is not the best. And fun fact, we're actually building Project Slide here as well. So the previous incarnation of this game is also built. I haven't removed that from the solution because I like to keep it around. It's a very good test bed for the engine. And I kind of rarely have to rebuild the C++ code these days. So there we go. 25 succeeded, 0 failed, 1 skipped. Okay. So now if we go back to Basis Tools, do a rebuild of this. There we go. Now it succeeded. All right. Let's see, event editor form, yeah. Oh, yeah, the mother vehicle. Yeah. Yeah, I can show the mother vehicle if you want to see it. It's not fully finished yet, but well, we can mess around with this guy. Like I'm sort of happy with this look. I think I'm kind of happy with the overall shape. At least somewhat happy with it. But I think it might need some like some more like dirt and decals and things like that. I was kind of originally thinking that I wouldn't really paint any dirt on these vehicles. Like this Scout, for example, is completely clean, as you can see. Doesn't have any dirt on it at all. That was sort of like a conscious decision at some point that okay, like the art style is just like I'm not gonna do anything like that. Oh, are we stuck? we are stuck. Luckily, we have the unstuckifier. Should just yoink it right off that thing. There we go. So anyway, yeah, I had this thing like completely clean as well, and I kind of decided that it doesn't look very natural when it's as clean as it is. Oh, what? Why is my oh, it's just called mother now, probably. Blender is just dying on me here. Oh, there we go. All right. Okay. I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, you can see here the sort of the difference if I toggle this thing on and off. So painted details, right? Basically, like you have this little bit of crap everywhere. That's just painted there by hand, and then you have this, and it just looks like you know, unfinished almost. This is kind of like the art style that the Scout has going as well. And I kind of determined that this doesn't look finished. It just looks unfinished somehow. So I started painting dirt on this top one, and I was like, yeah, this is nicer. I kind of like this more. But it's still only on the top side. So if you look here on the bottom, this stuff is completely clean still. So it still needs some work if I decide to go with that. But other than that, yeah, I kind of like it. And then obviously that crane there isn't changed at all. I've just moved it so that it fits into that slot that it has there. And I think it will probably get another crane, at least at some point, in this sort of front slot there. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. See what happens. But I don't quite consider this done yet. And also it needs like the same springy antenna on the top of the roof that the Scout has and so on. Although that should actually just be a matter of adding a component to it. So it shouldn't be that tricky. Anyway, yes, I have sort of promised myself that I wouldn't do anything visuals, any new visuals now until I have this audio side done, so concentrating on that. Anyway, I spoke about this flow panel earlier, flow layout panel. So this thing here, this is where all the buttons for the signals and parameters get put. So we could maybe add those a little to the right and make some room here for the VU meter. Basically just do that, right? And then run this. So now I can see that there's a little bit of space here. So maybe we can plonk it down here. But what should it look like? I'm not sure. So I have some like digital DU meter examples here. So maybe like something like this, where it goes from like minus 20 dB to 0. If it goes above that, then we have a problem, right? So I did some tests earlier here. Like if we wanna convert from just raw volumes into decibels, this is basically the formula. If we just put 0 here, we'll get like an infinity. So Python doesn't like that. It just goes like math domain error. We can make this like really small. Put a 1 there. And we get a pretty large negative value. If we make it larger, then it approaches 20, basically. Right? 0.1 should be minus 20, yeah. So our volume goes from 0 to 1. Right? And we basically want to map it into the decibel range -20 to 0. Is that right? I think that's right. So if the volume is 1, then we get 0, yes. If the volume is 2, then we get, is it 6? Yeah, 6.02. Though I'm not sure that So Loud ever reports anything above 1. If it's like 0.5, it would be -6. Yeah, because if you double it, then you add like 6 decibels. Yeah, that's how it works. So if you double 0.5, you get 1. And that would bring that to exactly 0, right? Yes. And then this would be +6. If you make it 4, that should be +12. Yeah, decibels are weird. Oh. -13. Yeah. So I guess like we should be sitting at like around 0.5 on the volume scale most of the time. So that should give us like a -6 on the VU meter, which is like right here in the middle. We're going to add RMS levels at any point. I have read about RM, or that sounds familiar, but I don't remember what that is now. So, and the average of a constantly varying signal over a given period of time. Root mean square. Yeah, okay. I don't know actually. I'm very new to all of this. You seem to be, Matt, a lot more experienced with this stuff than like overall like digital signal processing than me. So do tell me if I do something stupid. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I think actually that So Loud might be doing some averaging of that, right? I may be wrong, but let's see. So Loud has the value that we actually get out of this get approximate volume thing. Approximate volume. This just reads it out of this kind of array. Oh, actually, it doesn't seem to do that. Yeah, because it just uses the. I don't know exactly what scratch is, but just gets a sample out of there and then just takes the absolute value of that. Yeah. And takes the largest one. So you can see both BD and RMS. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what these abbreviations necessarily mean, but RMS BD. I just use those for musical production for a while. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. This this meter here in Reaper, it's really quite small here in the corner, but if you can see this, it says that it's peak plus combined RMS. So if you play these sounds again, I don't need to listen to all of that, but bottom readout combined RMS, and meter is peak plus combined RMS, and top readout is peak, right? So this is the peak. I think we can click these and they go back to infinity. And you can see here that they change. Yeah, okay. Bottom readout is combined RMS. I don't know what combined means here in this case. Is it like combined of both the channels? Yeah, Reaper doesn't like Wasabi on this machine for some reason. That's not what I normally use, but I have to use it with my current crappy audio interface because I can't route that audio from that to you. So I have to use Wasabi for these videos and streams. Anyway, yeah, my short answer is I don't know. I have to probably figure out exactly what I want. For now, I basically just want the meter so that I can compare and do some sort of very rudimentary mastering and mixing of the game. I can compare one event to another. And yeah, RMS seems like that might be a good thing to add. For now though, it seems like we have just this immediate value to work with here. And I guess like just play this for a little bit. The volume is actually very, very low. It's much lower than I thought. Yeah, it doesn't go like above. It does go above 0.1, but only very occasionally. But that's good because I've felt for a while that the volume is a bit low in Timbre, so that might be some mixing hiccup there, either in my code or then in SoLoud. If we solo this track and we just play it, we can see that it goes to like minus 9.8 on the left channel, right? So if we run the formula the other way, dB to volume, we should probably be able to see a much higher value there. Where's my Python? There's my Python. So if we do something like what was it? It's like math. How does this work in Python? Is it like, do you give the exponent there? 0.05 times, you know, minus 9.8, whatever it was. 0.3. If I got that correct. I don't really use Python all that much, to be honest. So I don't know if I've ever used math.pow, but I'm thinking that's probably how it works. But anyway, yeah, we should be seeing sort of levels like this, 0.32. And of course, if we plug this value that we had, like the highest value that we saw there previously was minus 12. that would give us minus 18. And we were up to like minus 9, so I feel like something is eating away at my volume a little bit in Timbre. So this is going to be good to actually verify that we don't lose any power on the way to the game. Okay. Anyway, we have this space now here for the effect for those whatchamacallit, view meters. And so maybe we can put something there. So this is also a user control. UI playback time display. Should be found here somewhere. That's P, of course. Playback time display is over there. Yeah, so you can see that it derives from a user control. It basically does all of its painting here in this code, and it's actually relatively simple. We just draw the background as like an image, and then we print some text on top of it. There's a shocking number of ways measuring single strength. Single strength. Do you mean signal strength? Yeah, okay. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people are now using LUFS. LUFS. Loudness unit relative to full scale. Yeah. Is LUFS equal to dB? Probably not. LFKS and LUFS are identical. Just like LKFS, 1 unit of LUFS is equal to 1 dB. Okay. Relative to full scale. Okay. So it's basically like the relatively they would be the same as dBs, but it's just measured relative to some other reference value then. Is that how I should read this? Spotify loud. What are LUFS? I mean, this is all really good. It's interesting stuff. I should probably get into this a lot more than I have currently been doing. But it doesn't really matter for my immediate work now. I'm just getting this meter up and running. So let's do that. And like I said, I kind of just. The need for this comes from a desire to measure like relative loudness between one event and the next, and I could even just use like the raw volume scale for that if I wanted to. So it doesn't really matter. I can change that later on. Let's create a user control here. I think if we go and have a look at this guy, it's just going to be, yeah, it's just an empty control. I just have it here so that we can actually resize it. And we can put something here if we want to. 224 and 40. So the height should probably be 40, but the width can be something other than 40. And it should fit in the actual UI there. So what we could of course do is, if we just open this up here, like if we wanted to, we could use the same backplate, same background as we have here for this other one, right. And then we could draw some nice looking bars here. Wonder if we should do that. Maybe I want to make it slightly shorter. This stream is just going all over the place, but that's fine. It's okay. Let's see, where did I actually design that graphic? Timbre editor, visual design, backplate. It's just a PNG, but I probably didn't design it in as a PNG. I probably did it as some sort of vector design thing. Let's bring this over. I think it became useful for mastering engineers since for a specific volume your tracks get turned down by the streaming services. Ah. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it probably makes sense if you're producing music or you know, like a podcast or something, or even a YouTube video, I guess. But maybe not so much for like a game, which is sort of doing its own mastering. Right, so here is where we have all of these buttons and everything as vector graphics. You can see the design here is slightly different. I have these sort of sections here in the background at some point, but then I ditched that idea. But still, we can probably just maybe erase this thing. You just take, not erase it, but duplicate it. So, let's see. Duplicate selection. Just bring it up and we'll make it a little narrower. That's 23, that can be 16. I think that's probably fine. I don't wanna waste too much space, basically. Horizontal space. I'll try to keep this somewhat reasonable. So it's 48 pixels. Now we just need to lay out these slices here so that we get this nicely exported as a PNG. One more like that. Then we'll give that a sensible name. Back plate narrow. And where do we want to actually put it? There, backplate narrow, like that. Right, so what's the difference here? We have 276 minus 194, so 82 pixels narrower. I'm probably gonna want to use that width as the width for the new user control. So let's bring this into the project. Resources and resource and existing file. Visual design, and we have the narrow one like that. Now we just take this guy, playback time display, just copy it. And we can do like a VU meter display. view meter display. Annoyingly, you have to go in and sort of rename these files in a bunch of different files here in Windows Forms. Okay, so we want the width to be 224. So 224 minus what was it? 82, 142. And then we can go here and we can use this narrow one instead. Render it there. On the back plate. All of that. Actually, I think I want the back plate. Properties, resources. Backplate narrow. And I'll just use this here instead. And in the playback time display, I'll do the same thing, but I'll just put it there and use the normal one. Something like that. Now if we go here, let's see if this works. It doesn't, no. Again with the Windows Forms Designer. I have to rebuild this in the designer configuration. Now we should be able to open it with a little bit of luck. So editor, event editor form. We have this guy here. So we should be able to drag one of these other guys there. What was this? Those zeros, where were they coming from? So this guy has has a time. That time is constructed here, format clip time from the time, and that is how it displays those zeros there. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, like the Windows Forms Designer actually runs some of your code here when it actually is showing this stuff to you. So sometimes you can get the designer to crash if the visuals depend on something that it can't actually run at the design time, so to speak. But let's have a look at the document outline. Where's the document outline? Document outline is there. Play button, time, playback time display. We want to put it after that one. Let's see if I can do it this way. View meter display. Can I drag it in there? I cannot. Okay. Oh boy. We have the playback time display here, but the view meter display is not there. It's probably because of this again. Let's rebuild this thing. Oh, and it might also be that this thing just doesn't want to play now that we have it open as we are building this. Windows Forms Designer is being a baby. Alright, now if we open this, it should work, but it does not. Okay. Playback time display currently works. Like once we get one of these guys dragged onto the form and just positioned however we want it, it should be reasonably simple to then just actually design the meter in code completely. Right, so how do we actually want to do this now? Because this thing doesn't want to play nice at all. Maybe I'll just shut that down for now. Right, so now it works again, magically, once we restarted Visual Studio. Wonderful. So how about you put this now in your list of things here in the toolbox. Hey, there we go. So now it's visible here. Yeah, this is the kind of bullshit that you have to deal with these days if you're using this system. It's kind of horrible, really. Right, so as we can see here, we have those zeros there, as we basically expected. Let's just make sure the location is, so it's 14. What is it here? It's 12. Let's put it on the same. It doesn't look like it's on the same place though. 161.14, 139, and 391.14. That's what I'm trying to say. And they're both 40 pixels high. That's strange. Put that there. View meter display. Was it somehow incorrectly nested? Yeah, kind of maybe looks better. I don't know, but 380, 390. I think the 390 is quite alright, but I don't know why they look like they're sort of different heights. What happens now if we run this? It might be that we have to check the pixel size of the time display's background. Yeah, it looks like when they were flashing there before they got drawn properly, looked like they were on the right on the same height, but now it looks like this is like slightly below it. Very strange. So let's see. The size of this is 224 by 40. And the pixel size of that backplate is 224 by 40. This is 194 by 48. Oh, that's why. Yeah, it's not supposed to be 48, it's supposed to be 40. That would explain it. So let's fix that. 48. How was that actually 48? Is it actually wider than this or taller than it? It shouldn't be. Doesn't look like it. It is. Oh, have I done any sort of... Have I done any sort of rescaling of this? That's strange. Because it is actually 48 here. 276 by 48. But here it is actually 224 by 40. Okay. That's not great. Let's do a quick re-engineering of this. Right, so if we take this original backplate, sure, keep 224 by 40, and then we scale this up. So scale, and we keep yeah, actually I don't need to do it with that. I can just do it with this. I can scale the image. Yeah, and we keep them linked. So if I put this to 48, that would be 269, not 27, whatever it was. What was it? 276. Yeah, it's weird. I've clearly like scaled it somehow after that, but it doesn't make any sense. I don't know why I would have done that. But clearly I did. So that's a bit annoying. Okay, so what we're gonna do now instead then is let's take this guy, because this is the correctly sized. Keep whatever, and just edit this in. Oh no. Reset that. Just edit this as a pixel thing. Right, so we'll take, because this is luckily kind of simple to just mess around with like this. And how wide do we want it to be? Make that into a new layer. Take this layer, probably something like that. Crop to content. And then export as the narrow one. And then what is the actual size of this now? The exact size. 161 by 39. What? How is it 39 when this was 40? Oh, because we're cropping it to the content, right? And there was actually one row here of empty. Everything is so difficult today. Can I crop it just horizontally? Oh well. it 162? No. Canvas size. Yeah. 162. Resize. There we go. Yeah, I think that's probably okay. 162 by 40. Let's use that so we have nice even numbers there. That one. And now we need to do another weird thing here where we take this away, remove resource. And I'm gonna call that backplate narrower. Because I don't wanna deal with Visual Studio's BS again. Sometimes updating these resources is kind of tricky, especially if it's not super obvious to you if it has actually updated or not. Right. So what was the size again? 162 by 40. Yeah. So now if we go to the editor form, which probably will complain again. Yes, of course. It's being a baby once more. Now we can size that correctly. It should finally look the way we want it to. Yeah, narrower is now the thing that we want to have. So there we go. Event editor form, and now let's just make sure that this is the correct size. 162. And that means that we actually have to make this a bit smaller still, something like that. And that's probably fine. Let's put something else there just to make it kind of clear that that's not actually the. Yeah, we don't have this finished thing. Like there's no concept of this finished thing at all here. Just take that away completely. Also don't have the time, of course, but for now let's just write like VU meter there or something. Now if we build and run this thing, okay. Just take that away. There we go. Now it looks like something. And now if we have an event here with a parameter, it appears there above it, or not above it, but next to it. If we have a signal, it appears actually now next to that. And then we have the parameters. Right, so we probably want to have a little more space between the first signal and or the first item on the flow panel, to be exact. Probably fine. And this is anchored to top left and right, so it kind of resizes itself according to the remaining space. same as that. Getting a little nitpicky now, maybe. It's starting to look pretty nice. Like two pixels more to that side, and I think now it's gonna be fine. Yes. So now I think that the spacing is kind of reasonable there. So now then, we basically want to draw two lines of boxes there of different colors. So how many of those boxes do we typically have in one of these things? So if we consider having like a -20 decibels to +4 decibels, we'll probably want to have two lines of boxes like this, and maybe like the numbers below it or above it. Something like that, but let's just think about the boxes for now. But the scale would still be something like -20 to +4. I think that's kind of a reasonable scale to think about in this case. So we'll have, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. And then some spacing between those. Yeah, getting 13 boxes to fit in there might be a little utopistic. So maybe we'll have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Or 8. 5 and 3. We'll have 5 green ones and 3 red ones. Or something. I don't know. Anyway, what we'll want to have is basically a left and a right channel. And I wonder if we want to actually just kind of hard code this to be like a stereo thing for now. So we'll have just a right and a left. Or maybe I should say a left and a right. But I'm probably going to just have it work like this. I will have a public void function which is like set volume, and this would be channel index, and then the volume is a float. And then this thing takes care of the conversion to decibels or whatever we end up using, the actual sort of scale. I'm thinking that's probably what we'll want to have. All of these things concern themselves just with writing text, so let's not have any of them around. Just the image, and then we'll render the boxes using just GDI. Right. If we have the event editor form, this guy actually has this as a member, so we'll probably want to give it a sensible name. VU meter display, That's playback time display. That would be VU meter display. And then we need some sort of accessor for that, right? Playback time. Something or other. Right, so here's how we actually update the playback time. Playback time updated. And this is triggered from the preview player. Okay, so this is kind of nice. Maybe this is how we'll want to actually set the volume as well, right? Yeah, probably. So we would basically have class volume reported. Volume report updated. What was the name of that event that we're sending from the backend? It's gonna be here somewhere. So report channel volume. Okay. Let's do just like VU meter data event. VU meter data updated. Event args. And yeah, we'll just want to have a left and a right. Again, just at least for the time being. So left and right. Oh, left equals left, right equals right. And then we'll need a delegate, an event, and an event for these things. Probably put one of those lines in here between these as well, like so. So let's call it VU meter data updated handler. Take that type and make an event called VU meter data updated. And then here is how we can actually notify. This is how we can run one of these events, which causes other things to happen. We need to run it through this sort of lambda thing to have the main thread actually call this. Notify playback time. So this is being called from another thread. Or it might be called from another thread. But what about this process return messages? Where's this called? Is this already called on the main thread? If it is, then we don't need to do any sort of thread marshalling here. Yes, yes it is. So it's called from application idle. Process return messages. So here we can just quite simply call this thing. And yeah, we'll probably want to do this. We want to check for like a VU meter data updated. If it's not null, that means that something is connected to it. And then we can do event args. Thing is though that we're only getting one channel in this message here, which is annoying. So maybe we would actually want to sort of extend this class to have 2 float members. That way we could send both of those channels with just one message. That would make it easier. Let's do that. So we'll go to Timbre bridge. Player backend. And we have this class here, float data. I'm just gonna do a float data too. It's completely up to the message, whatever you actually use these members here for. So string data, 2 float data, and int data. So we can now do this, and we can do that, and basically we don't need this int anymore. And actually I don't need that either. I can just do this. I can do float data 2, and this would be 0 and this would be 1. Why is it complaining? I don't think it knows itself. So if we build that, that should be fine, and it is. Data 0. I don't know if I want to sort of put this to 0 as well. Maybe I do. I don't know. Doesn't quite matter. And that's probably nicer. Right, so now if we go back to C#, and we take the thing here, so we have left there, and we have right float data 2, and this thing can be taken away. Actually, maybe I'll keep it here, but I'll change this a little bit. So this would be left volume, left and right. Like that. It can be handy to print these things sometimes as a sort of a debugging thing. Right. Yeah, it needs to have one of these guys as a parameter. There we go. Yeah, that's fine. Take that away. All right. And some of this might seem a little sort of roundabout. Why am I jumping through all these hoops to actually get this set up? But now what we can do this kind of nicely here in this event editor form here. We can quite simply do mapp.previewPlayer.ViewMeter data updated, and we can hook up the event to a new method here. Just put it right underneath that one. And here we can do mViewMeter display, set volume. That channel would be e.left, and mViewMeter set volume 1 would be e.right. And now, of course, this thing could have like an array of channels, right? And then we could set all of them. Would that be nicer? Maybe. But currently we won't be able to display anything besides stereo anyway, so it doesn't quite matter. Whenever we set this, we will want to invalidate the thing. So here we're gonna want to have left volume, and we're gonna want to have right volume. Right. Yeah, we're still working with the channel index there. It doesn't quite matter. Actually, what I want to, I want to just change this too. So we want to have the left and right here as well. Left volume and right volume. Simply because then we don't need to invalidate twice. We call this invalidate function here, and doing that on a control in Windows Forms causes it to be redrawn, as this comment here says. So basically we just want to set both of them and then invalidate once. I think this actually probably just sets a flag somewhere, so it doesn't necessarily matter if we just do it twice in quick succession, but still, it's probably nicer that way. And that means that we will actually want to go here and do like e.left instead. Left volume, right volume. Like that. So at this point, maybe we should just verify that we have everything working as working this far, basically. You can do editor log. Oh, we're gonna have to add some using statements. Right log, so L, or we can do string for format, L, and the first one, R, second one, so I'm deliberately making the output a little different than we had previously. And you can see that's actually coming from this VU meter display now. Right, so if we play this, we can see that we get some output there. That's nice. That's what we want. If we give it a volume of 0, basically we'll get like infinite decibels. So we're gonna want to handle that case somehow. Basically we want to handle it by like not trying to convert it to decibels if it's 0. I think that's what we'll want to do. Okay. I'm gonna start clearing up some of these things a little bit. And I don't think we'll want to have any text necessarily today. Maybe I'll put some text there later to sort of specify what the scale actually is. But I'm thinking what we will actually control here is we want to control how many boxes we'll want to have. How many of these boxes we'll have. How many of them will be green. And how many of them will be lit. Right? That's basically what we need to know. Then we need to know the colors of them. We need to know the sizes of them, and we need to know the spacing between them. That's basically what we need to know. let's put in some constants here. So const int box count. That was 8. Const int green box count. That was 5. So that leaves 3 red ones. And then we have like int lit box count. That's not a constant. That's something for us to figure out, and of course that depends on the volumes. Actually, I think like 8 is probably too few. We need to be like a little more granular. Well, we'll see. I'm gonna try to do this so that I can change these without having to like rewrite the drawing code. What we also need to have is these colors here. So let's maybe just use the colors from this image. What is the easiest ways to pick these colors? Yeah. Let's just save this guy. I can't right click on that. That's annoying. Well, I'm just gonna snip it instead. Snip it right up. Thank you. Can I color pick in this one? I don't know. Edit with Paint 3D. What is Paint 3D? I need some new thing to do that, apparently. Okay. Save it as a VU meter file, and we can open it here. What? Oh, my Fmod open still. Okay. So we just drag this in here, and now we can color pick these guys. So we have 4 colors, except we only get 3 here because we don't get like an unlit green here. We only get an unlit red. That's annoying. But okay. We want them in RGB. So unlit red would be 47, 15, and 18. And a lit red would be 255, 33, 22. And then we have lit green, which would be 151, 226, and 37. Okay. What if we now then just want to make this have the same hue, but we want to make it darker? Something like that, maybe. What's the threshold? Bring it up. Or which way is it? There we go. Does that look okay? It should be even darker. Maybe it should be even darker. Nope. I think it should be even darker. Maybe that's okay. Well, let's use that. We can always make it darker still if you want to. So 55, 82. 82 or 56, I guess, but doesn't quite matter. 15. Let's go with those for now. See what we can come up with. So, private color, unlit green. Like that. And then we have unlit red. That's 47, 15, 18. And then we have lit green. 151, 226, 37. And lit red is 255, 33, 22. Right, and then we need to somehow figure out the spacing. So like where do we actually want to start this thing? So let's do const int start x. That can be 5 pixels. We need a start y, and that would also be 5 pixels, and that's basically like the left channel, so the top channel in this case. Let's put all of these constants together. And then const int box width, maybe 10. Box height, maybe 6. And then const int box spacing. Let's make it 5 as well. Let's try something like that and see what comes out of it. So we're gonna draw just like the top line first, so this line here, and everything's gonna be unlit for now. So let's do for int I equals 0. I is smaller than box count, like so. Whoa. We need current x. That would be start x. And start x would be it would be box width plus box spacing. That's not how you write width. And it's actually current x that we want to do it with. Like so. Before we do that though, we will want to draw a box. So e.graphics.draw what's it called? Rectangle, probably, yes. There we go. Right, so we need a pen Actually, we want to fill a rectangle. That's what we want to do. We don't want to draw. We want to fill a rectangle. And for that, we need a brush. Okay. Cool. So out of these colors, we'll create a brush. I wonder if I do why I do it up here rather than just inline here, but maybe that's how it has to be done. I don't remember. But we can do a brush. So unlit green brush, and then we have unlit red brush. Oh, like that. And then we have lit versions of those. So lit green brush, lit red brush. Unlit green brush, new solid brush with the unlit green color. Red, red, and then copy these two guys and change unlit to be lit. And now we need a brush, so we can do var brush equals if I is less than or no, if it is less than green box count -1, right? No, actually, if it is less than. Yes, if it is less than or equal green box -1, or if it is less than green box count, quite simply. Then we want it to be unlit green. That's how you do it. Unlit green brush, otherwise unlit red brush. And then of course this will get more complicated at some point when we actually know how many of those should be lit. So let's do e.graphics.fill rectangle with the brush and a new rectangle. Should not be a float rectangle actually. Let's start with the rectangle and then we can maybe make it a rectangle F later if we want to. So int x, this would be current x, and this would be basically start y, for now at least. Width would be box width, and that would be box height. Like that. Let's see what that looks like. Hey, look at that. So we have 8 boxes. They're actually kind of visible. The colors are not very nice currently. And just put that in there. You can zoom it in a little bit. So we can see that at least with this box size, we can probably fit like maybe 3 more boxes here if we make the spacing a bit tighter, so that's nice. And the height is pretty good because we might be able to fit some text under if we have 2 of them there. But I do want to like bring them sort of inwards a little bit from that corner. So let's make the count. We now have 8. Let's make it 11. So we have 3 more, and 2 more of those should be green. So this should be 11. This should be 7. Let's make start x be like maybe 8, and y as well. Oh, and we'll want to make the spacing smaller. So let's make the spacing like maybe start with 4 and see if we need to make it even smaller. Alright, so it's getting a little tight here. Not like super tight, but a little tight. We can of course make the whole thing wider if we need to. Maybe that is actually what we should do here. Because I'm thinking that this looks actually not completely terrible. Whoa, 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 whoa. Something like that. So we're hitting this corner here. The spacing here I think looks kind of nice. And I don't hate it. And we would basically need maybe like, what is that? It's hitting that shade there, so that would be like 4 more pixels. At least, maybe 5. 5 more pixels width. Yeah, these colors are really, they don't fit this at all. Kind of horrible. I'm gonna have to figure something out with them. That should be kind of easy. Right. So let's make this just a little wider then. So we have it here. We can just make the image canvas size. Disconnect that. Let's make it like 68. 168. Resize. Oh, that's not good. Let's bring that over. Like so. Needs to be narrower, my selection here. Like that. So now, life hack. Let's take narrower away and just delete that completely and just bring narrow in instead. It's the original name that we had for it. I'm gonna want to have that changed as well. And then this thing that's probably gonna cause us some issues again. To actually change the size of that guy on the form, and we get this problem again. All right, so now we can make this 68. That's nice. And that means that this needs to be let's see, one location. Yeah, there we go. So from, what was it, 62 to 68, so that would mean 6 more. So then this becomes 72. There we go. That's now hopefully the last time we have to mess around with that guy. All right. Yeah, I think that looks decent. Let's snippet it again. Yeah, that's fine. Have a bit more space there. Might even get away with making this spacing 3, which means that we could potentially fit like 1 more box there. so. So we could pick 12 boxes and 8 of them would be. How does that look? Yeah. Well, we can mess around with this scale forever and ever. Let's maybe not do that. I'm gonna just move them ever so slightly to the left. And then we basically need a separate one for the other colors. Or the other channel. That's of course what I'm referring to here. So we can do this. Current X equals that one again. Maybe we'll want to have like let's call this like left Y instead. I think I'm gonna bring that down just a little bit. And then we'll have right Y, which is going to be like 10 pixels lower. And then that's just left Y, and that's just right Y. So we have left channel, right channel. That looks okay. Actually, maybe want to move them up a bit more still. I think that's fine. Left Y, but then let's do that like 8. Yep, I think that's good because now we can fit some of the text. Have the scale down there. Be all nice and readable. So I think the problem why this doesn't look nice is that these colors are way too dark for this background, right? If we have a background that's this much brighter than this is actually like completely black. That's the problem here. Search again for digital VU meter, see if we can find any that has like a background that's slightly closer to what we have here. I can just tweak these colors, of course, on my own. Don't necessarily need to do it like this. What if we actually take this? I'm going to drag this off to the side for a bit. We'll go in here and just put some boxes here. And we don't want any stroke. We probably don't want any roundedness either. Well, I probably don't have any roundedness. Those and make them red. Actually, I don't need to group them. Maybe they do actually need to be grouped if I want to change all of their colors in one go. Let's see if that is the case. Yeah, seems to be the case. Okay then. That's fine. Let's group those as well. Basically need one which is like significantly darker. Something like that maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at the colors separately. But let's see if we can get that we get them to bounce. We get that that meter to actually show something sensible. It's getting kind of late here, so I'm gonna basically do that and then probably end for today. But there's still a little bit of work left to do to actually figure that out. So how do we want to do that? We can do the decibel conversion now if we want to. I'm thinking that's probably something that we'll want to do. And then we need to map that to this range. So if that's like -20, then we are over here. If it's 0, we're over there, and then that would be, I don't exactly even know what that would be because the scale is not linear. So if we're going with this one, that would be like +4 would be basically all of them. All right. Is this scale actually linear? For -10, it's kind of difficult to see which place on this sort of horizontal axis these numbers actually lie on. But we have -20 there, and we have 10 here in the roughly in the middle, between -20 and 0. And then we have -15 there between, so it kind of looks like they are actually linear here. So that would be kind of nice. Then we could lerp between like basically none of these guys and all of them being lit. And then we can lerp, we can do another lerp here on this side if we go above the 0, which we basically never will, because the volume is so low currently. But we can fudge the values a little bit to see it actually go above it. Something that's kind of interesting here, of course, is that they have sort of like a more, or at least it looks like to me, they have a more precise scale here above and below this. It's not immediately obvious to me if that is actually the case, because this ends right next to this box and that one ends right next to this box. So I don't know if that is like what they're sort of hinting with this, but that could be, of course, interesting to have like a very precise, more more precise one next to the big one. Yeah, okay. I don't know how this is supposed to work, but let's do one lerp and then another lerp today. And then I'll have to probably read up a little bit on how this is actually supposed to work. But basically, that means that if we do the conversions from decibel to, or from volume to decibel, we have basically, let's do like, put another scope here. We need the current X to actually be, actually we don't, we can just do this, do it like this, we can do like this, and we just put another int here. Though this kind of suggests to me that we should actually split this off into another function, so maybe we'll do that. Let's make a private void draw channel. And draw channel would have a y value. And it would have a float volume. And I'm thinking the rest of that will actually move there. Let's bring these guys over into here. Left Y, right Y. Yeah, let's bring those over, get rid of those. And then this stuff just moves into the function. Like that. We don't have those. We have just Y. It should be a small one actually. I typically only keep my constants I only keep my constants capital letters. We need the paint event arcs as well, so we can access the graphics. That should be fine. And then we can just remove that, but let's first do like draw channel. It would be E. This would be left Y. Come on, left Y. And volume would be M left volume. That would be right one and M right volume. And take that away as well. And this one basically we want to calculate now. So lit box count, okay. We can well, first of all we can make sure that they're still visible, those channels there. And they are, that's good, okay. So now we can play around with this value and make it like 6 or something. And then we'll do like a whole boolean lit equals lit box count. If I is larger, let me have a think about this. If I minus 1 if I is larger than lit box count, right? If we have one box that's supposed to be lit, then the first box, this would be 0. something like that, right? I plus 1 is larger than litbox count, then we are lit. Isn't that basically how it goes? Let me know in the comments if I'm doing this wrong. It's late and my brain is not what it used to be earlier today. Lit green brush. So like a bunch of nested ternary operators here. Green brush, unlit red brush, lit red brush, something like that, right? And then we have them set to 6. So that didn't work. Did I just do it the wrong way around? We have 5 of them unlit though, so even that wasn't correct. If it's lit green brush, unlit green brush. Yeah, it's the other way around. Yes. So it's if lit box count lit box count is larger than I. That's how it's supposed to be. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. Cool. And if we make them all lit, then it looks like that. Okay. Cool. Okay, let's see about this data conversion now. So basically, value in dB, this would be 20 times log 10f. Oh, but this is C#. Math. Not math f. Probably not math. Log 10 is the double. Nah. Whatever. Volume. And then this returns a double, so we'll probably have to cast it to a float. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, so then we have int litbox count. Let's initialize this guy to 0. The value in dB is between like -20 and 0. Right? Then basically we want to have math helper remap float. Want to have value in dB from -20 to 0. This will be 0 to green box count. And we want to probably, we want to like round that, or what do we want to do? I'm just going to cast it to int for now. And then if we are, value to dB is above if value to dB is above 0, then litbox count would be, it now goes from 0 to, what was the value here on the scale? It would be +4. So it goes from 0 to 4. Box count and float green box count. Right? Is this right? Not sure. Value in dB. So this is going to be like negative infinity, right? If this is 0, that should be fine. We're working with floats here, so these things just won't they won't actually go into this if else statements. Right? I'm thinking that probably will work. Let's have a look. So let's play one of these test sounds. Right, we're not getting anything there. We're getting the L and R. That's probably just because these things are so low that they don't actually, can't see anything here. So let's like artificially boost these guys by like 10. Let's see what's up. Hey, look at that. And of course those values are just complete bogus now. Kind of looks like we're clipping there, but that's just because we're boosting them by so much. Yeah, the volume is really, really low for some reason. And it's kind of difficult to read them because we don't do any sort of averaging, right? But evidently it kind of works. Gonna have to do some smoothing of those. Of those values, and then when I stop it, we should make sure that we set it back to 0 again. Yeah, if we stop it, we should set it back to 0. Let's have a look here. I probably trigger that that event which we created. Where was it? Event editor form. I think it's here. Playback time updated. It's actually that form. It's this preview player. Notify playback time. That's probably actually what we're calling. Notify playback time. Yeah. So here where we're requesting the stop, we're doing the finished. Should do it there as well. Yeah, I might actually want to create like a similar function for this. So notify, do it like this, but I don't need the method invoker there. Just do it like this. Left and right. So left and float right, and notify view meter data updated. So it can check the event there. We don't have to do it all the time. Left and right. I'll just take those away, except I'm going to leave that commented out one there. And now just look for these places where this is called. This one, notify playback time. So here we do notify view, and we reset that. Playback finished, we do the same thing there, just to be sure that it's actually set back to 0 when it actually finishes. We don't need to do it there in the update because that's done by the player itself. All right, so now if we I wonder if this should actually go back to 0 if we pause it. What is it doing here? Yeah, they go back to 0. But it looks like they're doing the RMS thing, the mean calculation there. I'm not doing that currently, but I mean, maybe I should. Yeah, maybe I should do that. It's still clearing it though when you press the stop, so that's fine. Yeah, we clearly need the RMS stuff. If we look at this same sound here in this, it's this one. Like you don't really have any time to see what's going on here. It's so quick. You can just about see that they get red, but you don't actually even see it all the time. So we need to do the calculation there probably for that as well. And I do wonder if we should actually make those boxes just a bit lower. To give it a bit more space there below for the text. I think that's probably better. Yeah, the colors are still kind of horrible. I guess maybe as a last thing we could put in these colors instead. Just to have it look a little nicer. Maybe I'll do that as the last thing today. RGB is what we want. So this would be the lit green. And that is, what is it? 71, 187, and 80. Yep, that's that. Then we have the unlit green, 27, 72, and 30. And the lit red, 201, 57, 57. And 101, 27, 27. Like that. Maybe that'll look a little nicer. I don't know. Maybe it does. I'm probably gonna tweak those still. But yes, I guess this times 10 here is the biggest problem. I need to figure out what's up with my volume scale. The volume is too low, but I don't feel like it's necessarily quite. It shouldn't be this low. There's something weird happening here. We don't get any of the output there. You can just about get some of those to light up. So it should be quite that low, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably a pretty good cut-off point. So, we did get a VU meter. Need some work still. But hey, thanks to everyone who showed up today. Thanks to Matt for your suggestions on the RMS stuff and all of that. I'm gonna have to look into that. And overall, I need to have a slight look at my volume and see that I'm not losing any power anywhere. So, I hope this was interesting and informative. I am going to end this stream here. Remember to like, subscribe, do all the YouTube jazz. And I hope to see you in an upcoming video. Have a good one. Take care. Bye.